first video made in a long time, and that is for the updates as regards everything I had been talking about. The evolution of the clothing, the shirts, what I have, I shall not make it into a rant. And I'm not bound to repeat anything I have already said, but one should be checking all videos for precisions. Now, the shirt I'm sporting is finally the J.Peterman shirt. now, in the playlist posted in... Now, this video is being shot upon 2025. September 14th. And in a playlist from 2024 July, which is entitled How to Dress Victorian Easily. Then originals will not fit, which is basically the well, whatever. So I was talking about J.P. Morgan shirts, but really I meant J.Peterman, because I was confusing with another brand called J.P. Morgan, which also has shirts, but actually these should not be of our concern, since they have nothing even remotely P-like. That was the false information. I was confusing names, and I meant J.Peterman. Now, that is a J.Peterman shirt, which I purchased, I think, back in June. My sister bought it last summer when she came to visit Dubai. And I've been wearing it since July. And I'm glad to witness, make a constatation that the plan works. Indeed, the medium size, which is that one, of the removable collar type, which I all like. They come in many different colors and all stripes, or even this is a stripe, but or even shapes, does fit. So the collar is truly probably a 15.5 max buttonhole to buttonhole. So the full collar itself is almost 16 probably, but never mind. And so that collar, which is, yes, the one still with the original starch, I only began wearing it last month ago and have not relanded it since. Therefore it is dirty. And it is one of the very old collars from the playlist stripe collars. So probably late 90s to mid 1910s is the most likely dating. Although the seller had said 1950s, but no matter. So this collar, being a 16, is actually arguably quite large on that shirt, but not hands forward. Why I also think that shirt may not be a shirt collar actually 15.5 buttonhole to buttonhole, might be more 15, and a few, and like 1/4 of an inch or something. But when I measured it, it was quite actually 15.5. So yeah. So the shirt works. It is still quite long, which is a problem because I tuck it in the under trouser, and since I wear it for a month or at least 2 weeks, without laundering it, I don't want it to touch the growing areas. I have to roll it, but when it is unstarched now, like it is now, because it is super hot in Dubai, now it is still around 40 during the day, and when I began wearing it, which was in mid-July, I had not laundered it. It came laundered, I think, and I wore it for a month, and only today did I resaw the buttons preventively and washed it and ironed it. Now the good thing is the cloth is very nice, and for some reason the perspiration stains, or perhaps because I'm so careful with it, but from constantly wearing a long sleeve and a shirt below it, that would get changed every day after one day's wear. But the perspiration stains were not so accumulated it was hard to tell it was dirty, especially thanks to the stripes, but the smell was horrid. So, from the perspiration, thereof, I wanted, because I did not want to damage the fabric so quickly, I only owned it since a month, thereof I did not scrub it, and most of the perspiration stains are gone, but again it is almost new. And I did not starch it, although we are already in mid-September, because it is still so warm, and I still want to wear the frock coat. Although I can't wear the waistcoat. The waistcoat is way too warm to wear now, with the frock coat. Back in July I was only wearing the waistcoat. Now I wear, since 2 weeks, the frock coat rather than the waistcoat, which is still warmer, but not as warm as wearing both. But it's warmer than only wearing the waistcoat. Now, so I ironed it, but it's still, actually, this is the first wear since I ironed it. I finished ironing it at 3:30 off the clock in the afternoon, and it is already, although I did not even wear the cotton toe on top, it's already wrinkled because I did not starch it. This is starched, and I only wore it since a month, and it is not that dirty. So now, the shirt. Is it accurate? I will share what it looks like. So, I will take down. I'm not wearing the shirt to sock braces like I was, because I cleaned them, and I was looking to be cleaned by the change of season or thereof. I do all these big cleaning things every 3 months. And so I actually took too much off in advance. I did it today, so I cleaned them, and so I have to wait 2 weeks before we start October and another season. Thereof, because I'm not wearing them, it shall be easy to pull out the shirt from the trousers, because obviously, since it is not so long, I do not desire to take down under trousers, and then you would see probably my growing area, so I'm actually going to pull it over, and so you see it is a full buttoning front shirt, and the buttons, even the cloth theoretically, but even if one does not concentrate upon the cloth, but simply upon the cuffs are alright except for the buttons, but they were cut, and the fact that buttons all the way through, they had shirts that buttoned all the way through, probably actually starting in the late 70s or early 80s, but they were not popular before 83, 84, 85, but they were not like that before a long way yet. They would only button up, I will talk about only about until here, not the whole way through. That really only began perhaps early mid 1910s for the very first, and they will not look like that. They would be sort of sports flannel negligee shirts, but probably more. Certainly they were there by the early 20s, but they were very rare. I'm certain they were there by the early 20s or late 1910s. But they were not a popular option, I would say, before the very like that, or because it went gradually. So at first they began to have button about until here, and they were, if anything, longer than these, but they were not buttoned all that way, and then they added even a few more. So I would say the ones that fully buttoned like that probably they were certainly there by the early 1920s. They were very rare and more a negligee shirt thing, and they were not a popular thing. That often will not find popular original ones, because most of what survives is what they had the most often percent, obviously. So it is very likely to find an original from the late 10s, early 20s on that really had that cut. I would say almost impossible for the mid-30s, but really shirts like that, button all the way, I would say, yeah, more in the early 40s, very popular in the 50s, and still, especially for British people still wanted to wear detachable collars, until about 1960s, 70s max. I would say actually, even with a small gathering there, the cuts, and there's no gathering in the back, no there, and really the shape of how the sleeves are cut, and how the body is cut. You would have, I would say, I'm not a class expert, but the class seems relatively accurate to the period I'm going to pronounce now, which would be 1940